I didn't know what an absolute dream come true having a garage available for your car would be until last night. It hit like minus 42 Celsius with the wind chill, and my car started absolutely no problem this morning, and it wasn't freezing cold and I didn't have to clean it off. I love having a garage. Everybody, welcome back to another video. I'm not here to talk about my car, although I do love my little Versa. I'm actually here to do a book chat / review of a new favorite book series of mine. So if you guys have been around for the last couple of monthly wrap-ups, you know I've been mentioning the Books of Bayern series by Shannon Hale. The Books of Bayern series consists of The Goose Girl, Anna Burning, River Secrets, and Forest Born. When I first started BookTube and it was kind of established that I loved fairy tale retellings or fairy tale-esque type stories, a lot of people were recommending The Goose Girl by Shannon Hale for me to pick up, saying I would really enjoy it. I put it off for the longest time for one of the dumbest reasons, and that is I didn't like the covers or any of the editions that I saw available on like Book Outlet or in Chapters or just on my wherever I buy books, and I just wasn't impressed. I thought the covers were kind of meh, and I wasn't drawn to it, although I heard a lot of people talking about the book itself was really good. One day this summer I was perusing the bookshelves and I saw in the Ages section for Hale this gorgeous facing of this book, which thankfully was faced, and I realized they got a cover change, and I am totally on board for this cover change. They have beautiful covers. I really enjoy the look of them, and I love the paperback of them. They're a smaller paperback, but they're still a really nice readable book, even though I haven't actually physically read these. I listened to all 4 of these on audiobook. They have a brilliantly done audiobook. I found books 1, 2, and 4 on Hoopla. Book 3 for some reason wasn't on Hoopla, so I got it off of Audible. I would definitely own these audiobooks. They are really well done. They are a dramatized, so they do have a cast of voices for each different characters, and I just really enjoyed how this audiobook was done and how the story was told. I've had a couple of questions and comments on my last review about the Books of Bayern by Shannon Hale, so I'm just here to talk about some more of my thoughts, some more my ideas about content, and just answer some questions that came across and have a bit of a book chat for you guys. So one of the questions I got asked is what was the original fairy tale, or if this is a fairy tale retelling, and I looked it up and I did some research for you guys, and The Goose Girl is originally by the brothers Grimm, so it is originally a Grimm fairy tale, and it does have those Grimm fairy tale elements that we all know and love, and sometimes can be a little brutal, but it was, when I read the synopsis on Wikipedia, I was like, ugh. But I did come across some of those elements pulled into this series, which also made me kind of go, ugh, when I read it. But I still found it really well done, and it kept to the original story from what I could tell very closely, and so I appreciate the world that Shannon Hale built out of that fairy tale. Another retelling of The Goose Girl is The Noble Servant by Melanie Dickerson, so I kind of figured that it was original fairy tale somewhere. I just had no idea who or what by. The Goose Girl is about Annadori Caladra Telliana Isili, the crown princess of Kildare, which I had to read off. She prefers to be called Izzy or Izzy by her friends. She prefers that name. So Izzy is sent off by her mother to a neighboring kingdom to marry and kind of form an alliance so the kingdoms don't go to war. Along the way, she is betrayed by her maidservant, who takes her place and forces her to exchange places and makes her the servant and the maid the princess. In the Brothers Grimm original, it sounds like Izzy follows and trails after the maidservant, but in this book, Izzy kind of runs away and flees for her life because they're actually trying to kill her. And she ends up in Bayern, which is the kingdom she was sent to marry the prince, and falls in love with the animal keepers for the king. She finds work as a goose girl and kind of sits and decides of what she should do. Should she go back home and get help? Should she somehow get her story out there and let the king know who she truly is and that he is an imposter princess living in the castle? She forms alliances and fantastic friendships with a group of animal herders known as the Forest Born, which are a bunch of children from the forest who come to the city to take care of the animals and make a better living. The Forest Born are considered a lower class of citizens and aren't granted entrance into the military or any kind of esteem in the kingdom. In all of this, Izzy has the ability of animal speech, and she has the ability to talk to some birds and to communicate with her horse Falada. So there's a magical element of that, and Izzy kind of discovers a stronger magic, and all of it is very elemental and actually very beautifully done. I really appreciated the magic system in here. As The Goose Girl is a retelling of the Brothers Grimm original, the next books, Anna Burning, River Secrets, and Forestborn, I'm not too sure if they follow along or if they're just a continuation of the first book and following Izzy's story, but you start to follow some of the other characters that you meet in The Goose Girl. So you follow Enna, who is Izzy's best friend, you follow Razzo, who is one of the animal keepers that you meet in the first book, and then the last book is about Rinna, who is Razzo's younger sister, who is a Forestborn just like the rest of them. So you follow this fantastic ensemble cast of characters and continue on. Pretty much everybody's story is drawn out through all four of these books. When it comes to a great book series, a few things that I really like is a fantastic ensemble of characters, which you get in all four of these books. I love when you continue on other characters' stories, so you get Enna, Razzo, and Rinna, and you also continue on Izzy's story and kind of what happens after the events of The Goose Girl, and everything kind of connects and follows along into one big ending, which I really enjoy. I also really enjoy major plot twists and when a story comes full circle and wraps around and all loose ends are covered, which this series has a fantastic surprise ending, something I didn't see coming, and everything is wrapped up so perfectly done, and it is like a full circle story where everything connects and makes sense. The world building for Shannon Hale was magical, fairy tale-esque, this beautiful, quaint kind of world country, medieval-ish fairy tale kind of country that she sets up. I really enjoyed all of the elements that she incorporates, and it was just a very fun, magical read with her writing style, her characters and conversations. The way she writes relationships as well were really well done. You have fantastic family relationships, amazing friendship relationships. It has very lovely romance relationships that are very well developed, slowly developed, that almost seems like a natural development of great relationships, and they are done very well over 4 books. There's a couple of romances in here, so you don't just follow just 2 characters, but all of those are just really well done with how the characters balance each other in those relationships, and I found them just endearing, innocent, adorable, and really appropriately done for the ages that are involved in those relationships as well. Out of those relationships, the friendship aspect was my favorite. You have a great group of characters with Finn and Enna and Razzo and some of the other Forestborn, and then Izzy gets tossed in with all of these Forestborn kids, and even Garrett the prince gets tossed in as well, and you just have a great group of friendships that I really loved seeing develop. As for the content of these books, I found in The Goose Girl there was a couple of, I don't really know how to put it, kind of brutal, violent moments, or even some like animal brutality towards one of the animal characters, which I was kind of taken aback by. However, it is part of the original Grimm fairy tale and is an essential element of the story, so I do see how it was brought in, but it wasn't graphic or dwelt upon. It was just had to be a part of the story, and it wasn't something that overly bothered me. It was just, I was a little taken aback when I first read it. In Anna Burning, there is a whole battle and a whole war going on between 2 other countries, and there's some graphic detail of people being burned to death and just war and violence, but it wasn't, again, too graphic, too hard to read for me. It was just kind of, ew. You know, you just get taken aback a little bit. The romances, especially in The Goose Girl and Anna Burning, like I said, were just innocent and pure and sweet and very appropriate for the ages of both characters involved in those relationships, and I really like to see how they were developed. So very clean relationships along that way. Language was perfectly clean. There was nothing that stood out to me. The magic system is very elemental and beautiful. There is a mention of a creator or creation. It was kind of briefly mentioned in the lore and the explaining of where these magics that certain characters develop come from. So it was still very earthy, elemental, but nothing too cultish or anything like that. That kind of stood out to me. So again, I still found the magic system to be very magical and fairy tale-esque. As you can probably guess, I gave all 4 books solid 5-star ratings. The story was beautifully developed, it was clean, it was fantastic characters that I simply adored, and I've mentioned before in other videos, Finn is probably one of my favorite characters, and I simply adored him, along with Rinna and all of the other characters. I can't really pick a favorite, but if I would pick Finn. If you guys have any hesitations or questions about picking up the Goose Girl series or the Books of Bayern series by Shannon Hale, I highly recommend it. I can't say much else about any other Shannon Hale's books. I did attempt one of her books, but I was kind of put off within the first 2 chapters, so I didn't continue. But definitely her Books of Bayern series is one that I would highly recommend. As always, if you guys have any questions about any of the content or concerns about anything, you can leave them in the comments below and I'll tell you what I can without spoiling anything. If you have any concerns about the magic, the violence, or anything that I might have mentioned that might have sparked some concerns for the content. I hope you guys enjoyed my little chat about the Books of Bayern series by Shannon Hale. I really enjoyed this book series. I can't wait to reread it, and that is, to me, a sign of a really good book series, is being excited to reread it right away, and this is definitely one that I want to reread in the future. If anybody wants to do a read along with me, I will do a series read along. So let me know in the comments below. Maybe we can get a group going for some sort of read along. I would very much enjoy that. So as always, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!